organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Here's what's just ahead tonight on Daily Iowan TV. See how one University of Iowa professor is doing her part to put an end to domestic violence.
And then see how you can do your part to help out using the university's bystander intervention plan.
And in sports, the women's basketball team prepares for another in-state rival.
We've got all that and more coming up next.
You're watching Daily Iowan TV.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Hannah Thompson.
And I'm Mary Caldwell.
We begin tonight with some news just west of Iowa City. Early this morning, 2 Marshalltown police officers shot an armed man who is now dead from gunshot wounds. A convenience store was robbed in the area earlier this week, so the officers were doing extra patrols when they saw the man and stopped to speak with him. During the conversation, the man drew a handgun and eventually fired at the officers. There was an exchange of gunfire until one of the officers injured the man, and he died soon after while in the hospital. Officials say the identity of the man will be released later today.
Late last night, a fire destroyed a North Liberty home. Firefighters were dispatched around 3 a.m. after a neighbor heard loud noises and smelled smoke. It took 8 hours to put out the fire, and then the 2 homeowners escaped without any injuries. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation.
Issues of domestic violence have dominated the NFL in recent months. However, a new offender-focused intervention program created right here at the University of Iowa may be able to help. Daily Iowan TV reporter Michelle Nago has the details.
After spending 25 years researching the effects of domestic violence,
the cognitive behavioral interventions with offenders don't work very well.
University of Iowa professor Erica Lawrence is introducing a new intervention for combating physical violence in the home called Achieving Change Through Value-Based Behavior.
Instead of trying to change thoughts and feelings, you notice them. We teach people to be willing to sit with them, then make decisions about how they want to behave in a given situation based on what's important to them.
Iowa correction facilities across the state have implemented the treatment, and it has already
cut recidivism rates almost in half.
With the program's success in Iowa, Lawrence hopes to collaborate with other states to make Active the gold standard in domestic violence intervention. In Iowa City, Michelle Nago, Daily Iowan TV.
This past year, a White House task force recommended ways to protect students from sexual assault on college campuses. Now this idea has caught fire at the University of Iowa, and various programs have developed since then. Emily Fries has the story.
Students at the University of Iowa had only been back in classes for 1 day at the beginning of the fall semester when a sexual assault was reported at a campus dorm. Since then, there have been 8 more reported assaults on campus. This sparked anger in students and community members, seeing as just a few months ago, UI President Sally Mason had created a 6-point plan to combat sexual assault at the university. Part of Mason's plan included funding for the Women's Resource and Action Center, where trained coordinators like Megan Shore provide workshops on bystander intervention, an idea that men and women alike can break down behaviors surrounding sexual violence.
We focus on getting students, faculty, staff, community members to feel encouraged and empowered that they can recognize that something problematic is going on and then respond.
While there are many ways to intervene as a bystander, Shore says we still have a lot of training to do and more people need to be aware.
A gift thief is on the loose in Cedar Rapids. On Monday, a UPS driver dropped gifts ordered from Amazon onto the Oberreiter family's doorstep, but just a few minutes later, the packages were gone. According to the family's neighbor, 2 people jumped out of a van, ran up to the doorstep, and grabbed the packages. The family has been refunded by Amazon and has reordered their presents, which should arrive just in time for Christmas.
Still to come on Daily Iowan TV, if you've got the winter blues, you're not alone. We'll tell you all about seasonal affective disorder next.
And in sports, the final What It Takes segment of the semester.
Hannah, I noticed that there were some flurries last night. Did you see?
I did see it, and I'm kind of excited about it, especially since Christmas is coming up. Daily Iowan TV's Abby Meyer is standing by in the weather studio. Abby, what can we expect for the weather?
Well, guys, it looks like it's going to be a dry couple of days. While most of the snowfall this December seems much less than last year, it looks like we may not see much snow before Christmas. For the past few days, temperatures have fallen below the average temperatures, but the forecast looks dry and cloudy until Monday. Tomorrow morning will start off at about 17 degrees with a light breeze. If you have an early morning final, be sure to bundle up because it looks like we won't see the sun till late afternoon. By the evening, temperatures will hit a high at 25 degrees. And moving into the rest of the week, Friday looks like the only day the sun will make an appearance, and temperatures will hit a high of 34 degrees. Saturday and Sunday will warm up to close to 40 degrees with an overcast. There is a chance of rain and snow on Monday, while temperatures will be in the mid-30s. If you will be traveling over the Christmas holiday, keep a lookout for a slick weather, and hopefully we will have a white Christmas before Santa comes on Christmas Day. Thanks, guys. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Abby. And although the holidays are known to be merry and bright, for some, the cold weather can be a downer. Daily Iowan TV's Sue Wang went out to see how serious the winter blues can be.
When we settle ourselves into the long and cold winter, you may find yourself in an unexplained sadness. Well, you are not alone. It's called seasonal affective disorder. It's a subset of major depression. A lot of times it will come with a season change. More than 20% of Americans report mood changes during the cold, dark days of winter.
When the sun never shows up and then the weather got gloomy, that's a time I can feel that feeling, the depression.
The overwhelming stress of the final exams and holidays are some reasons for the mood change. And the most simple cause could just be the absence of the sun. People who suffer from the seasonal affective disorder are always found a lack of vitamins. To fight back the winter blues and seasonal affective disorder,
to increase the sun exposure as much as possible, increase the working out time, and to try the artificial light therapy. So a lot of people go to see the doctors or physicians or counselors, or any kind of professional assistance that would be helpful too.
to help control the seasonal disorder, people could try to spend more time with friends, eating more healthy food, having a better mood, and getting ready for the Christmas. Sue Wang, the Iowan TV.
The 2024 Olympics may be held within walking distance of the Pope. If Rome wins the bid to host the Summer Olympics that year, the Games could be held in Vatican City. Pope Francis is reportedly very enthusiastic about this. If Rome wins the bid, many are hoping that some of the events will be held in the Pope's Summer Palace just outside of Rome.
And speaking of sporting events, Mary, have you been to any women's basketball games this year?
No, unfortunately I haven't, but I've heard they're doing pretty good this year.
I know, me too, and I'm excited to hear about it. We have Daily Iowa TV's Austin Luce in the sports studio. Austin, what can you tell us?
Thanks, ladies. As the fall semester is nearing its end, Hawkeye sports are yet to slow down for the holiday break. Tonight, we will have our final edition of the What It Takes for the semester. But first, the Iowa women's basketball team heads to Des Moines Sunday to wrap up their non-conference schedule against the Drake Bulldogs. This in-state game, however, carries more meaning than a typical non-conference matchup.
Now this year, we're one game away from being state champions at Iowa and have done it quite a few times since we've been here at Iowa. So it means a lot where our program has come. Ironically, Drake is still leading this series by 2 games. So we hope to narrow that by 1 on Sunday.
Not only does it mean being champion of the state, but it also means Bluter and 2 of her assistants will be returning to their old stomping grounds.
There's definitely something there because, I mean, our coaching staff originated from Drake and they were all there for so many years and played there, and we kind of play this game for them even. And plus, like, the in-state rivalry thing, and they're a good team. I think every year this rivalry is kind of the same as any other in-state rivalry. People get up for the game and people play their hardest for it, so I think it'll be a fun one.
The game at the Knapp Center will be just the team's 2nd true road game on the season, following a drubbing to 10th-ranked Louisville earlier this year.
I'm hoping that we learned a lot from the Louisville game that we'll take with us, because after this game, half of our games are on the road. So we've got to get used to playing on the road, and that's why this game could really benefit us down the road.
Following Sunday, the Hawks will get a week-long break before they open up the Big Ten season on December 28th at home against the Penn State Nittany Lions. For this week's edition of the What It Takes segment, Daily Iowan TV sports reporter Taylor Bartz took a not-so-typical look at the sport of gymnastics. Taylor?
Thanks, Austin. It's no secret that injuries are oftentimes a part of being an athlete. but when is enough enough? For this week's segment, I met up with a former gymnast to find out what it takes to walk away from the sport that you love.
I started when I was 2 years old, and it basically started the way every gymnast starts, a kid with too much energy. From the ages of 15 to the time I was done, I had injuries almost nonstop. I had been recruited by a couple different universities, and Iowa felt like a good fit. It was one of those things where things were falling into place, and when your path is set up so easily, you take it. My biggest injury in the beginning was my elbow, and it took me out for 14 months, which is like a suicide note in gymnastics. And I came back strong, and then I tore the meniscus in one knee, came back, a year later tore the meniscus in my other knee, came back, and that's when I came to Iowa. Then I had a healthy year, then tore them both my knees again. The doctors sat me down and they said, you're risking a lot right now, so you need to take this time off. I wasn't initially willing to take that much time off, but I knew I had to. So for a summer I couldn't run, jump, or squat. And then it was near the end of the summer that we decided we'd reevaluate, and nothing had got better. So I went into the doctor and they said, okay, you have two options. You can keep going and there's nothing we can do about the pain, there's nothing we can do about your meniscus continuing to tear, and you can risk knee replacements within a year. Or you can stop now and we have a different surgery that could help your future. They say it's your decision, just remember it's the rest of your life. And I always knew what was going to happen. Even before the summer began, I had a feeling. And so I think intuitively, I always knew that I was going to be finished within the next couple months. Gymnastics will never die for me. I think it's part of my genetics now. And I just remember that feeling. So leaping from bar to bar, or floating over the vault, or dancing to the music, doing my floor routine, like there's just something, it makes your heart beat in a different way. And I don't think any gymnast can describe what it's like, but there's something that just keeps you going. And even after 10 surgeries and multiple injuries, I always came back because of that fire, because of whatever it was that was just keeping me in gymnastics.
Emma currently works with the team as a manager and plans to stay involved with gymnastics in some way forever. Austin, back to you.
Thanks for that, Taylor. That'll wrap things up here in the sports studio. For our show tomorrow, we will have a preview of the men's basketball team's upcoming game at the Hy-Vee Classic in Des Moines against the Northern Iowa Panthers. Along with this, we will preview the Hawkeye football team before they go bowling in Jacksonville, Florida on January 2nd. Also, be sure to check out the sports page in tomorrow's copy of the Daily Iowan, as one writer took an inside look at a swimmer who is vying to be back in competition after a typhoon of injuries. But for now, Hannah and Mary, back to you at the desk.
And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get an inside look at tomorrow's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about why studying abroad in Australia could be riskier than usual next semester in Grace Pateras' story.
And find out why Congressman Dave Loebsack is visiting Meals on Wheels chapters around the state.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night for our last newscast of 2014.
I'm Mary Caldwell.
And I'm Hannah Thompson.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.
Iowa SJMC.
Want a major that'll take you somewhere?
I joined and now I'm in Los Angeles, California, interning for Conan O'Brien at Warner Brothers Studios.
I joined and now I'm working in public relations for diabetes research.
SJMC.
Can't pick up a copy of the Daily Iowan? Are you worried about how you're going to find out about the latest news in Iowa City and the University of Iowa? Well, look no further. You can download the Daily Iowan mobile app on your iPhone for the area's best news coverage. And you can also read and watch us on your iPad. You can always find current and past Daily Iowan stories at dailyiowan.com. The Daily Iowan is now on TV, online, and in your pocket. If it happens, it's news to us.